The Batman Arkham series, starting way back in 2009 with Batman Arkham Asylum, followed by Arkham City and later Arkham Knight, is truly a work of art in video game form. The love and care that went into crafting the stories, environments, and character designs in these games is apparent in every single installment that Rocksteady produced. All three games work together to form a brilliantly vibrant world for our pointy-eared protagonist to glide, stomp, and punch his way through. Each one is special in their own ways while maintaining a strongly connected plot, tying them into one fantastic story across the entire breathtaking trilogy. A trilogy, consisting of 3 games, and that's all. Only 3 games. At least that's how it would seem, because the most underrated and my personal favorite installment of the series got absolutely shafted by the Return to Arkham collection. They practically said, Arkham Origins who? Shut that shit up, and left my beautiful boy in the dust. I mean, there are probably several reasons why Rocksteady couldn't include it in their bundle, as it was made by Splash Damage and Warner Brothers to kind of settle people's appetites a bit after Arkham City, while Rocksteady developed Arkham Knight for next-gen consoles. But the fact that it just gets completely ignored, the disrespect is palpable. So today, I'm going to tell you why I think Arkham Origins deserves a remaster, or at the very least to be backwards compatible and be put on the Xbox Marketplace for consoles. Spoilers ahead for the game, because I'm getting deep in here, folks. So if you haven't played the game and don't want it spoiled, this is your one warning. Batman Arkham Origins is a prequel to the Arkham series taking place before the events of Arkham Asylum. As opposed to the more experienced Batman with established relationships to his villains and the Bat family, this time around the story focuses on a younger Batman that's still early into his crime-fighting career, showcasing his first meetings and subsequent apprehensions of some of the most famous foes in the Arkhamverse. Batman in this game has nearly none of the support we see him with in the other games in the series. Oracle? Nope. Robin? I mean, he's in the online mode, but that doesn't really count. This is straight up Bruce and his sassy butler versus all the criminals scattered through the Christmas light covered streets of Gotham. We'll talk more about Alfred later, but I just want to say Martin Jarvis absolutely knocks his performance of Alfred out of the park in this one. Martin Jarvis is one of the few voice actors they got to return, as he voiced Alfred in Origins, City, and Arkham Knight, and he's delivered each time without fail.
Welcome home, sir. The concussion detonator is on your workbench. Remember, if you use that instead of your fists, you'll do less lasting damage to those police officers and civil servants.
Noted.
That brings me to another factor that really sets this game apart from the rest of the series, which is its voice cast in general. In the previous 2 installments, we were graced with the absolute GOATs Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill as Batman and the Joker respectively, which I think played a huge part in the success of Arkham Asylum upon its release. I think people hearing the voices from the animated series helped make the game feel more familiar while being an entirely new story. And it made people feel more like this was the classic Batman they knew and loved in video game form, which worked. Origins, however, was in a bit of a pickle. They didn't have the access to these beloved voice actors for this leap into the Dark Knight's early years, so instead Roger Craig Smith portrays Batman while Joker is brought to life by Troy Baker. We'll talk more about the entire Joker reveal later, but I digress. Troy Baker has played the Joker a few times, and he does a good job in the role. He just kind of does a Mark Hamill impression, but seeing as these representations of the Joker are meant to be the same person, it works well. Baker would actually return in Arkham Knight as both Jason Todd and Two-Face, which I just learned while doing the research for this video, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, life would be so simple if you were all I wanted. No, you're just a teeny little distraction compared to what I've got up my sleeve.
Roger Craig Smith, however, brings a bit more of a personal touch to his performance as Batman. You can tell he's taking great care to kind of mimic the cadence and speech patterns Conroy used in his take on Batman, but his voice is naturally a bit lighter and not as coarse, really selling the concept that this is a younger version of the Batman we see later in Asylum. It certainly is a bit jarring loading up an Arkham game and not hearing Kevin Conroy when Batman speaks for the first time, but as the game progresses, that feeling really fades away while you experience this version of Gotham through the lens of a Batman that's still kind of wet behind the long, pointy ears. This take on Batman hasn't had as much time since the Crime Alley incident and appears more angry and ruthless than he's been in other installments, and they showed this aspect of Bruce multiple times throughout the events of the game. One example of this, and arguably one of the best sequences in the game, is when Batman accidentally chokes one of Penguin's thugs unconscious while trying to question him, only to decide to wake him up by dangling him over the edge of a building by his ankle. It really sells the concept of a more ruthless and less calculated Batman, and I think that vibe works well with the whole younger, less experienced Bruce angle this game went for.
Get away! Where's the Penguin? Where is he?
I swear.
Damn. Wake up.
What happened?
Another thing that I think really highlights this idea of a less experienced Cape Crusader is Batman's fighting stance he adopts when around an aggroed enemy. In previous installments and later in Arkham Knight, Batman will stand stoically even when enemies are attacking him, almost as if due to his speed and skill he doesn't need to prepare himself physically to counter an attack. However, in Origins, he will actually change his stance, slightly raising his fists and steadying his feet, visually preparing himself to make someone swallow a mouthful of their own teeth or kick them about 10 yards away. Maybe this wasn't really an intended thing, and Rocksteady just didn't really see this detail being necessary, while the developers of Origins did, but for me at least it really adds into the idea of this less experienced Batman we see in Origins getting more confidence in fighting prowess through the course of his career, so by later titles he's grown out of the need for this fighting stance. Was that too much time spent talking about this very simple detail? Probably, but screw you buddy, this is my Batman video, and I'll rant for as long as I want. What are you gonna do about it?
Oh, scary! Oh, shiver my timbers! Shut up, man!
The playable world in Arkham Origins was another factor that really isolated this game from the others. As before, the games had taken place in more enclosed locations, like the Asylum or inside the walls of Arkham City. Origins instead decided to give us a full Gotham City, or at least a huge chunk of it. I don't really know. Arkham Knight made it a bit confusing. Like, half of the map for Gotham was repurposed from Arkham City, which, while it may seem lazy, I think it worked well to not only connect this game to the previous installments, but giving players a tweaked yet familiar area to run around and break people's bones in. I don't know. Maybe I just like this game so much I'm willing to overlook the reuse of parts of the old map, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't run around Amusement Mile in Arkham Origins, pointing at all the familiar locations from Arkham City like Leonardo DiCaprio. The Christmas theme in this game gives Gotham a nice atmosphere with Christmas lights lining the rooftops and snow falling constantly. They also added a small Radiant event style thing around the map called Active Crimes, where Batman's radio will pick up the GCPD dispatcher informing officers of a crime happening somewhere in the city that Batman can go and stop. It really makes this Batman feel more like a street level vigilante stopping the occasional gang fight while solving murders and stopping the more major criminals gallivanting around Gotham. On top of the reused map section, Arkham Origins shared most of its gameplay mechanics with Arkham City, which was a big point of contention for a lot of people when this game was released. They kind of blasted this game in the reviews, not gonna lie, it was kind of brutal. People were disappointed that they didn't do more to add new mechanics into the gameplay besides the shock gloves that Batman takes from Shocker like a quarter of the way through the story, which, while I thought they were cool and had some satisfying sound effects when you thunder punch a thug into the ground, could get a bit overpowered and alleviate some of the fun challenges that come with the free flow combat system these games are famous for. The side missions for Origins were basically reskins of the side missions from Arkham City, admittedly with minor tweaks, and some people also ripped on the fact that Batman has some gadgets he got during the course of Arkham City in this game, despite it being a prequel. Gadgets like the grapnel boost while gliding and the glue grenade replacing the freeze grenade being included admittedly could have been thought out a bit better, but I mean, after having these gadgets in City, I kinda get why they wanted them brought over to Origins for gameplay reasons. I'll be honest for a second, crossing that gigantic fucking bridge with the grapnel boost is bad enough already. Trying to do it without any kind of speed boost would be a bigger pain in the ass than actually defeating the Joker and his assassins. Let's actually talk about the Joker and the whole 8 Assassins plot for a minute. The premise of this Batman game being about the big bad bat facing off against a large variety of his rogues gallery, with Black Mask kind of heading the whole operation, was an extremely solid idea. Some of Batman's best stories are him working against more classic style organized crime, as opposed to facing off against the same villains every time he goes strolling through Gotham at night. It really seemed like Origins would use this concept to its fullest, introducing a contract placed on Batman's head by Black Mask. Then maybe halfway through the story they kind of pulled the old psych, got your ass, with the very underwhelming reveal that Joker had actually kidnapped Black Mask and taken over his whole operation, subsequently putting the hit out on Batman himself. When it comes to this reveal, it definitely isn't the worst thing they could have done, and I think they handled it a lot better than Rocksteady did with the whole Arkham Knight reveal. People kind of saw that one coming from a mile away, and with the Joker reveal, it's less of an, oh yeah, we knew it was him all along kind of thing, and more of a just a eye roll and I guess it was Joker again. I think that once this reveal has had its time to settle in your mind, and we kind of accept the fact that Joker is the main antagonist again, we actually get a pretty phenomenal take on what this universe's first meeting between the Clown and the Bat would be like. And it's done very, very well. The depiction of Joker's origin and formulation of his Batman obsession are done in this very fresh yet familiar way, incorporating elements from the Killing Joke, and allowing us to even play as Joker for a small section of the game while he lays the groundwork for his mental manipulation of Harleen Quinzel, who we see performing an evaluation of Joker at Blackgate and already getting that Harley Quinn crazy look in her eyes.
It's Harleen. Harleen Quinzel.
What a pretty name. Do your friends call you Harley?
Oh, I don't have a lot of friends.
Well, Harley, you got one now.
I think moments like these are where this game really shines, and that leads me into my takes on why this game is so good despite the flaws I've mentioned previously. One major highlight of this game, at least for me, is the character designs. Not everyone will agree, but the Batsuit in this game is not only my favorite Batsuit in the Arkham series, but I think it's my favorite Batsuit design period. Or at least it's extremely high on the list, for a multitude of reasons. I always love a Batsuit that incorporates a bit of body armor or protective padding into the design, and this suit runs with that idea perfectly. The bulky gauntlets with the more angular arm blades looks fantastic, and the longer ears on the cowl, just incredible. I especially love these visible straps and rivets on the suit, really selling the idea that this is a suit made by Bruce before he has the help of Lucius Fox, using various elements from repurposed tactical gear to create a protective yet still sleek looking costume to strike fear into criminals. They also put some stubble on Bruce's face in this game, I guess to add to the idea that this Bruce is a little less put together than he is in the later entries, but the stubble with the cowl is awesome, and just another minor feature of this game that gives it a unique kind of edge when compared to the other entries in the series. The Joker in this game also looks a bit edgier, and I personally think I prefer this design for the Joker over the ones that we see in the later games. I think it might just be that they toned down that crazy hairline he usually has, but either way, I just think he looks a bit more menacing here, and the final confrontation between Batman and Joker in Blackgate's chapel is a wonderfully satisfying conclusion to their whole cat and mouse dynamic they have going on throughout the entire game. Definitely better than the whole Titan Joker conclusion that they slapped us in the face with back in the asylum. Black Mask, at least what we see of the actual Black Mask, looks fresh as hell, and Bane is just perfect. They actually use Bane extremely well narratively in this game too, showcasing his enhanced intelligence he possesses in the comics, and deciphering that Batman is Bruce Wayne, though later he uses this prototype Titan formula which basically wipes his memory of the events of the game. Which, for the story this game is trying to tell, is a decent way to set up Bane for how we see him later in Arkham Asylum.
Jesus Christ.
The other 8 assassins hired by Joker make for some great narrative pieces, with most of them being boss fights except for Shocker, who Batman absolutely makes a fool of in front of his whole squad, and then he gets killed by Joker via fall damage.
So, when I hire you to kill the Batman, you shut the hell up and kill the Batman! So do you have anything else to contribute? I didn't think so.
This guy really talked a lot of shit just to be absolutely clowned on, and I mean literally clowned on. 'Cause, you know, he gets killed by a clown. The assassins you actually get to fight all have interesting aspects to them that make their fights unique, and are all enjoyable for their own reasons. I mean, you get to fight Deathstroke in this game, who looks fantastic mind you. Like, this is peak Deathstroke right here. And while his fight is essentially just a counter and attack pattern minigame, it's both cinematic and satisfying as hell. Unlike the dogshit Deathstroke fight we got in Arkham Knight, dude. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with that. And you get to play as Deathstroke in the challenge maps. Like, seriously bro, it kicks ass. What else could you want? Besides the actual hired assassins, there are a few other crazies out on the town for Batman to rough up, like Mad Hatter, who has some thugs do a fun little song and dance for Batman, including some tight choreography.
You were very cordially, you are very cordially invited to a party. And it will be a grand affair. Grand affair. And it will be a grand affair hosted by the Hatter. We do hope that you can come. You can come. We do hope that you can come to share in all the joy.
Anarchy setting up bombs for you to rush to and defuse, and of course the man, the myth, the Riddler makes his appearance to taunt and hinder Batman throughout the entire game. He even has another series of collectibles in the form of blackmail data files, and if you collect all these dirty little data files, you get your hands on a classic Riddler trophy, which I think is just a cool little callback. I actually liked the Riddler a lot in this game, as he doesn't really know about Batman yet at this point in his career, so he kind of has a whole plan. It's only through Batman putting a stop to this scheme that he actually forms his obsession with outsmarting Batman, but seeing the Riddler have something else he's doing besides trying to best Batman, I don't know, it's just kind of nice.
Well, if it isn't the King Thug himself. Figured it was only a matter of time before you showed up. Sorry about the mess downstairs.
Who is this?
Think of me as a great big mystery, one you're never going to solve.
Enigma, then.
Oh, you must think you're so clever. Well, how's this for clever?
Another character done extremely well in this game is Alfred, who I kind of mentioned earlier. I feel like he has a much stronger presence throughout this story than he has in other games. He does his usual Alfred thing by helping Batman solve all of his cases from the Batcave. He gives him the advice to work with a pre-commissioner status Captain Gordon, and at one point he even has very strong aversions to Bruce even being Batman at all. With this developing into an argument between Bruce and Alfred in the Batcave, where Bruce drops what might be some of the hardest lines ever spoken, period.
Stop, Master Bruce. Bruce, I will not in good conscience allow you to go. You're outmatched by these assassins.
What?
You're not some hardened vigilante. You're a young man with a trust fund and too much anger. You're in over your head, and I don't want this to be your end.
Alfred, who do you see when you look at me? The boy whose shoes you used to tie every morning? The teenager you drove to his first date? While you are here every night, I am out there. The only thing between the innocent and the predator.
Be.
No, not may be. I am. When the mugger or the thief stops to think twice, that is fear. That is what I am. That is why they hired assassins, because I am the reason the criminals breathe easier when the sun rises. So no, Alfred, I am not in over my head. Tonight will not be my end, but it will be theirs.
Speaking of the Batcave, this is the only game in the series that actually shows us the Batcave. There was the version of the Batcave we saw under Arkham Asylum, but they didn't really use it to the extent that this game uses the Batcave. We can fast travel with the Batwing, which kicks ass. I know some people don't really like fast travel in video games, but I do. And the animation that plays when you fast travel is cool as hell, so like, I don't know, get over it I guess. Also in the Batcave, we can see where Bruce has started building the Batmobile from Arkham Asylum, which is a small detail, but overall I enjoy it. There's actually a scene later in the game where Bane attacks the Batcave, leaving Alfred crushed under some debris, with Batman having to lift and toss away pieces of this proto-Batmobile to free and subsequently save Alfred by, you guessed it, flipping on those shock gloves and absolutely going monkey mode on Alfred's chest.
Come on, damn it.
All units, code 10. Code 10 confirmed at Blackgate Prison. Suspect identified as the Joker.
Going to be all right.
The other major locations in this game, such as Gotham Royal Hotel and Blackgate Prison, make for really cool set pieces, giving you more than enough interesting locations to explore and stalk unsuspecting henchmen or GCPD officers through. Actually, one of my favorite in-game locations is the GCPD building, which Batman infiltrates multiple times throughout the game, which makes for some really fun encounters and stealthy predator sections. This game even takes an element from Year 1 and uses the loose cannon SWAT leader Brandon, who, in the comic, brings down an entire building just to attempt to kill Batman. I'd actually like to make a video on Year 1 in the future because it's one of my favorite comics, so if you'd like to see that, let me know in the comments. Here, he's decided to join the rat race, so to speak, to collect the bounty on Batman's head, trying to hunt down Batman and essentially becoming a pain in the ass for the rest of the game. Though you do get a pretty satisfying conclusion to this whole plotline when you get to knock his ass out towards the end of the story. You can even threaten one of the SWAT officers that works for him after you knock him out, which is pretty hilarious.
It was never Sionis. The Joker put up the bounty, and now he's behind bars.
I heard, but I still got a score to settle with you.
I'm giving you the rest of the night off. You took an oath to uphold the law. When I see you again, I expect you to be following that oath to the letter.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Arkham Origins, while borrowing a good amount from its predecessor, manages to simultaneously create a fresh story and atmosphere, and these, combined with the satisfying gameplay we love from Arkham City, make it a genuinely fun and engaging game that I've happily played through multiple times. I think it's truly an injustice. No, not that one. That this game wasn't remastered, or even made available on current gen consoles. You can still easily access the game on Steam, which if you've never played it, I highly recommend you do. But just the simple fact that it's been kind of pushed aside by not only its publisher, but the fans alike, kind of breaks my heart a little bit. Because at the end of the day, I truly believe that Arkham Origins deserves better. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, I want to say thank you. My last video kind of blew up. I really wasn't expecting that. These are just kind of passion projects I made just because I genuinely really enjoy talking about this stuff. But if you want to see more content like this, feel free to like and subscribe and let me know in the comments. I mean, I appreciate it immensely. It means a lot to hear the positive feedback from you guys. So thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.